Hi, so I'm gonna tell you about myself and why am I pursuing the project management career. Basically, I have a lot of experience working as a project manager back in my country, in Mexico, and I work for different companies such as Harley Davidson, Procter and Gamble, Corona, Kellogg's, and during that time in those projects, I started getting a lot of knowledge, and I understood they really wanted to keep doing it, and I'm good at it. I'm good at setting up goals, deadlines, and following the rules. So that's why I want to keep pursuing a career in the project management. What excites me the most about working in project management and client relationships, the first thing I would say that I enjoy the most is the fact that I do have the control over the project. So I do have the power to make everything happen, and I'm the relationship in between all the areas involved and the client. So I'm always making sure my client has what he requests in the best way possible. So what are my biggest strengths and how do they help me to succeed in my role? I'll say the first thing that I have, besides the attitude that I'm always willing to learn and doing the best thing I can, is my adaptability. I assess what kind of project requires more of me, more time, or a different skill, and I do identify what do I need to do to make it better and make it in the time due. Where do I see myself in 5 years and how does this position align to my career goals? Well, I see myself running as a head of a company or running my own agency. How does this position align with my career goals? After a few years of making my best and getting promotions and helping the company, I see myself as an entrepreneur who's going to be working along them. I'm going to tell you about when I had to manage multiple projects with tight deadlines and how do you prioritize and ensure the success. Well, in this one, it's always really important to see which delivery it's more important than which and start prioritizing by importance. For example, if you have a project that needs to have something before, we're going to start making a list of what do we need to finish before in order to complete the projects, multiple projects in the best deadline possible. And if this one client want to have these multiple projects of the same brand on similar due dates, we're going to have to explain him why we cannot do this and what is it going to be the best case scenario. What do we think could be the fastest to go with? But he has to know what's most important to him so we can start developing stagger deliveries or prioritizing deliveries. I'm going to describe a time when I had to handle a difficult client or stakeholder. How did I manage the situation? Well, I'm always I'm always good with hard clients or difficult clients because I'm always straightforward and honest, and I'm telling them the truth. What's happening? What I see we're standing at? Where do we want to go? What's the next step? And when is that going to happen? So as long as you're honest and you're always providing accurate and on-time information, there's no way any client could be difficult. They might be exigent and they might want to know much more or want to get much more of what you're supposed to, But at the same time, as long as you're always with all the information in your hand, you're always providing all the formats they feel the more friendly to understand what the project is, it shouldn't be a problem. I'm gonna share an example of this time when I encountered a major setback in in my project and how did we overcome it. I was working for Philip Morris International for Marlboro campaign, and we're gonna make some prints for billboards long time ago. And one trainee made a mistake in between the legals, so we were just about to print a lot of prints with the wrong legal, and that was gonna cost around 5 million to the company, so that couldn't happen. What we do is we call right away the printing company. They were just about to print, but there was a fee to stop the printing, so we rather to pay that fee, stop everything, call the client, tell them what was happening, and for how much time are we going to be, how much time are we going to take to deliver. There's going to be a little delay, but that will not cost anything to him. And at the same time, whatever cost related with this setback, we were gonna cover it. That's why we overcome to it, and then we start offering a little extras to the client to apologize. I'm going to imagine that I'm leading a project and suddenly my teammate missed a critical deadline. How will I address the issue and ensure the project stays on track? Well, depending on the project, but if this deadline is something we can fix in a few hours, my approach could be work overtime and fix whatever we need to fix in order to finish on time and start whatever the next phase is. If this problem is a little harder to make, we probably I probably will right away let know the client what's happening in a sweeter way, telling them why are we did we miss this deadline and what the next steps we could do, and all together we can come up with a solution that is gonna fix it all. That's what I will do. I'm assigned to a project with a limited budget but high expectation. How would you manage resources effectively to meet the project goals? Well, in that case, we're gonna have to know what do we have and exploit the maximum of what we have in order to deliver the best we can. But at the very beginning, I will be completely realistic with my client and saying what we can do, send some examples of what he can be expecting, and with that, I'll just manage my resources and the personnel that's working with me in order to come up with a better solution. A client requests a last minute change that could significantly delay the project. How would you handle this situation while managing client satisfaction? I will talk to them just straightforward, tell them they like the idea, or that's a really smart idea, but implementing will make us delay a little bit, and that will impact in other areas. I will let him know why we don't recommend to do it, but if he really want to do it, we're gonna have a delay. So he's gonna have to choose if that change is so important that it's okay to have a delay, or keep going with the plan we had so far, deliver what we have to deliver, and after we deliver this, start doing the change. So he had the two options, but the one we were agree on is gonna be on time. I mean, probably I'm gonna be providing different options, but that's the ones I think are the better approach.